tapajayasya sakatha vutti vasena. So according to those references, sunyata can be understood as a derivative noun including two components, sunya and ta. Among them, ta is a secondary derivative suffix which does not have any special meaning but just emphasizing the meaning of sunya. So we will see the sunya and that's why we can say that the sunya and the sunyata have the same meaning. So what is the meaning of sunya? So in the following references, we can see the meaning of sunya by exploring the commentaries and the sub-commentaries. In those texts, sunya is explained by using the synonyms tuta and ritaka or rita, which have the meanings of vain and empty. In those texts, the meaning of sunya is also explained using the synonym tuta, that is expressing the meaning of deserted. So according to all those texts, sunyata is generally expressing the meaning of an adjective, vain, empty, or deserted. So this is a very brief explanation of the meaning of sunyata, and after that, we will see the notion of sunyata in sutta. In Sutta Pitaka, there are 5 suttas relevant to sunyata concept. They are the Jula Sunyata Sutta, the Mahasunyata Sutta, the Pindapataka, Parisutti Sutta. These 3 are from Majjhima Nikaya, and the Sunyata Loka Sutta and the Sunyata Samadhi Sutta. And these 2 are from Samyutta Nikaya. So in Jula Sunyata Sutta, there are 6 steps to practice to achieve the empty dwelling. So in each step, the meditator has to abandon the former step and lead himself to later step. So in first step, the meditator has to abandon the perception of village and the perception of people, and he has to focus on the perception of forest. And in second step, the meditator has to abandon the perception of forest and focus on the perception of earth. And then he has to abandon the perception of earth and focus on the perception of dimension of infinite space. And then he has to abandon it and focus on the dimension of infinite consciousness. After that, he also need to abandon that perception and focus to the perception of dimension of nothingness, and then he has to abandon it and focus on the perception of the dimension of nothingness and focus on the perception of the dimensions of neither perception or non-perception. And these are the 4 stages of immaterial absorptions. And after that, in fourth step, the meditator has to abandon that immaterial absorptions and cultivate the silence vipassana concentration. And after that, in fifth step, the view of permanence is abandoned and the insight knowledge which knows the impermanence of that silence concentration remains. And the last step, all the defilements become empty and only the 6 sense feel dependent on this body and the conditioned by life remain. So this is how the meditator needs to practice to be empty of one perceptual object but fulfill another. But finally, when the meditator achieves the highest empty state, he does not need to fulfill anything more, and after he has practiced to be empty of defilements, mere physical phenomena remains as nature. Therefore, according to this sutta, we can understand that the highest sunyata is the empty of defilements, not empty of every phenomenon. And in second sutra, the Mahasunyata Sutra, it teaches how to practice to improve the concentration and the insight knowledge after having modified the external environment and living style in order to achieve the highest stage of empty dwelling. And this practice also includes 6 stages. They are the physical seclusion, attention to internal empty of self, and progressive redirection, mindfulness in the four postures, and retraining speed, and contemplation of the five aggregates and eradication of tense. Here, I just introduce you very short detail, and if you want to know very short, very brief, and if you want to know in detail more, you can ask me later in Q&A section. And after that, I will go to the third sutra. It is Parisutti Sutra. So in this sutra also the Buddha taught how to check our mind to be able to live in empty dwelling. There are 6 steps to check ourselves as follow. Checking the mind if there is greed, hate, or delusion when the 6 objects get into contact, and checking our mind if it has already abandoned the hindrance, and checking the mind if it has already known and understood the five grasping aggregates, and checking the mind if it has already cultivated and developed the 37 factors of enlightenment, and checking the mind if it has already developed the concentration and insight knowledge, and checking the mind if it has already realized the wisdom and freedom. So those are the 6 factors that the meditators have to check themselves and fulfill to be able to achieve the empty dwelling state. And after that, in the 4th one, the Sunyata Loka Sutta, the Buddha preached that the world consisting of 6 sense experiencing is empty because it is empty of self and empty of what belongs to self. And in the 5th one, the Sunyata Samadhi Sutta, the Buddha preached that the empty concentration, the silence concentration, and the undirected concentration are the path that leads to conditioned stage, the nirvana. So in summary, the 3 suttas in Majjhima Nikaya mainly describe the instruction to achieve the highest empty state. The first one is focusing on how to cultivate the inner concentration and knowledge deeper and deeper until achieving the empty of dwelling. And the second one is focusing on how to modify the internal and external environments until achieving the empty of dwelling. And the third is focusing on checking oneself when practicing. And the rest of the 2 suttas in Samyutta Nikaya does not describe the method, but they are saying the meaning of sunyata and its significance. When we reflect all those suttas, we can conclude that the basic notion of sunyata is the empty of self and self belongings, and the highest notion of sunyata is the empty of defilements. The meditator needs to contemplate the interior and the exterior and cultivate the inner concentration step by step to support the insight knowledge, which leads to the noble wisdom that has the ability to kill all the mental defilements. And this is the summary way to achieve the highest sunyata stage according to suttas. So now I'm going to explain the sunyata explanations in commentaries and sub-commentaries. I will introduce you in very brief way. So here on the screen, you can see some references from Patisambhidamagga Atthakatha. So according to this Atthakatha in this page, it is explaining that if someone is contemplating the vipassana meditation based on the concept of the absence of self in the conditional things, when he or she achieves the transcendental attainment of the path, the concentration of that path is named as the empty concentration because it was based on the empty vipassana. Here, the empty vipassana is referring to the big insight vipassana that arises by contemplating the empty of self in conditional things repeatedly. So therefore, sunyata can be interpreted as the big insight Vipassana and the transcendental path's concentration by means of understanding and reflecting on this page. And after that, you will see another reference here. This is from Dhammasangani Atthakatha. So in this paragraph, it is explained how the transcendental attainment of the path gets the name Sunyata. The first reason is because the big insight near to the transcendental attainment contemplated the conditional things as non-self. This is referring to the meaning that Sunyata is the empty of self in conditional things. And the second reason is because the noble attainment itself is empty of defilements. And the last reason is because the object of the noble attainment is the nirvana, which is also empty of defilements. So according to this paragraph, the conditional things are sunyata because they are empty of self. And the big insight vipassana is also sunyata because it contemplates the empty of self. And the transcendental attainment of the path is also sunyata because of these above three reasons. And finally, the nirvana is also sunyata because it is empty of defilements. Therefore, the interpretations of sunyatas, according to these reference, we can see there are four conditional things: big insight vipassana, transcendental attainment of the path, and nirvana. And after that, you will see also some references from Majjhima Nikaya Atthakatha and Patisambhidamagga Atthakatha. So according to these references, the attainment of the fruit is also called sunyata because it is empty of all signs and of self, empty of self. So based on all those explanations of sunyata in commentaries and sub-commentaries, its interpretations as the intrinsic nature can be categorized together with their reasons as follow. Sankhara Dhamma is sunyata because it is empty of self. The big insight meditation is called sunyata because it contemplates the empty of self. And Magga is also sunyata because it is approached by contemplating the empty of self, empty of defilements, and its object is also empty of defilement. And Magga Samadhi is called sunyata because it occurs by contemplating the empty of self. And Phala-samapatti is also sunyata because it is empty of signs, empty of self. And Nirvana is also sunyata because it is empty of defilements. So by reflecting on those categories, we can realize that the intrinsic interpretation of the sunyata are both worthily and unworthily. And here we can also see a way to achieve the ultimate unworthily sunyata through the worthily sunyata by reflecting and understanding their respective reasons. So by means of understanding the empty of self in conditional things and contemplating the empty of self in conditional things, approaching to the noble stage by contemplating the empty of self in conditional things and arising of the noble concentration by contemplating on the empty of self in conditional things, the meditator are able to achieve the stage of being empty of sign of self and of defilements, which is the ultimate sunyata. So this is the way to achieve the ultimate sunyata, understood by analyzing and reflecting on the explanations of the commentaries and sub-commentaries. So now we are going to discuss about the samadhi concept in Pali text. So there are three suttas we can see which are discussing about the notion of samadhi. They are the Samadhi Sutta and Mahajatarisaka Sutta. These two are from Majjhima Nikaya, and Kittanagutta Sutta. This is from Samyutta Nikaya.
I'm sorry, you have 10 seconds to conclude.
So here I will say in brief how is the meditation way based on the right view according to sutras? Here it is. The first thing is distinguishing between the skillful and the non-skillful, and after that cultivating the right concentration and abandon the concept of self and advance the right view, and finally liberate from the rebirth cycle. So here, after that, I will relate between, you can see the relation between sunyata and samadhi here in this chart. So according to this chart, we will understand the fact of distinguishing between the skillful and the unskillful, the right and the wrong, is the same with the fact of understanding the empty of the self and self-belonging in conditional things. It is because this basic concept of sunyata is the intrinsic nature of phenomena, and the samadhi has the ability to distinguish it from wrong concept. Then the second step and the third step in sunyata goals is the same with the second step in samadhi goals. They are about cultivating the concentration. And after that, the fourth one, contemplating the empty of self in conditional things by making of the
Excuse me, time's up for 2 minutes already. Can you make the last conclusion, please? Sorry to disturb you.
So here, the contemplating the empty of self in conditional things by making use of the absorptive concentration to let the inside knowledge arises and abandon the concept of self. And the fifth one, to approach the noble path, is also the same, the realizing the dependent origination and the fourth noble path. And after that, arising of the noble concentration and wisdom that has the ability of killing defilements is in samadhi path is the right knowledge. And finally, achieving the highest sunyata state is the achieving the right freedom from rebirth cycle. So this is how the sunyata and samadhi are relating each other. Actually, they are just difference in terminology and the way of explanations, but both the way of both meditations are, when we reflect in combining both courses, the way of meditation becomes clearer to be able to apply it. But practically, this is the texture. So this is my very brief explanation between the relation between sunyata and samadhi to make benefit for vipassana meditators in Theravada tradition. So thank you for your kind attention, and please be free for questions if you want. Thank you very much.
So it's very marvelous, Tandaso. We gained a lot of knowledge about the Sugata and the perspective from both Theravada perspective and the Mahayana perspective. Very brief. But you make the three main points. The first one is analytical study of Sugata concept in Pali text. And the second one is analytical study of the Samadhi concept. And third one is the most striking, their relationships in the practicing the Vipassana meditation. So Sunyata and Samadhi concept, it is the key points. We gain a very good knowledge from you, okay? Because also with the relating to the cause and effect of the depending on the conditions. In some conditions, Sugata is the cause of Samadhi, but in some cases, Sugata is the effect of the Samadhi. They take turn. It's a very challenging knowledge that we learn from you. They become one nature some cases. That sounds very interesting. As for samadhi, we all are very familiar with this notion from the Theravada perspective. But it has only one meaning, right view, so it's not a problem. But the problem with the term sugata, it is little strange for the Theravadan for us, since the fundamental idea of Madhyamika, the one of the very prominent in Mahayana tradition. They have explored the Sukata concept more than Theravada. It's your strength that you mentioned from the Mahayana point, that you allow us to learn some Mahayana aspects that we are not familiar with. And Theravada school defines Sukata as being empty, but it's not emptiness. Despite essentially having the idea of being empty, its interpretation of the inherent nature vary according to the contents. Your approach in the textual analysis is both philological. Your topic and material are really challenging and innovative research project. Because Sukata notion with Theravada meditation practice is rarely seen in the research arena. So I'm very proud of you for this insightful research project and wishing you successful in your MPhil thesis. Congratulations. Let's put our hands together for her. So now we open the floor for the Q&A. Please make your questions very brief. Don't make a storyteller. Thank you so much for your cooperation.
May I have a question, please?
Online, Dr. Yusananyani.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Tanaso, for touching upon this important topic. It is very insightful. My question is that you have already made very clear presentation of the concept of sunyata, but why is not this concept very popular in Theravada Buddhism comparing to the samadhi? The last table you compare sunyata and samadhi, yes, from the references. And what is your opinion? Thank you.
Yes. So, may I share my screen again here? So here, this is the last comparison between sunyata and samadhi. So you can see in sunyata, in very brief way in sunyata, but you will sunyata side, you will see the basic sunyata notion is to know non-self, not to realize non-self, understanding the empty of self. Actually, sunyata concept is very, very actually the same with the anatta. We are used to familiar with anatta non-self, but actually understanding the anatta is the same understanding the sunyata. Because in Theravada, sunyata means empty of self, not empty of everything. It doesn't mean not like that. It's mean empty of self and self-belongings. It is atta, attaniya. Self-belongings mean attaniya in Pali, in conditional things. So understanding in this way, sunyata is the right view, the basic right view for taking meditation. So from my point of view, without understanding the sunyata, we cannot have the samadhi. So without having the samadhi, we cannot go on the meditation, especially the insight meditation. So sunyata is very important to understand, to cultivate the right view from the beginning until the end. Here I will also show one of my slides. Here, the basic right view is distinguishing between the skillful and unskillful, the right way and the wrong way. So to be able to distinguish like that, we need to understand what is right and what is wrong. And the right view for every phenomena is there is no self. Every phenomena, every aggregates are empty of self. And that empty of self is actually the sunyata concept. So to have the very basic right view, we need to understand the sunyata concept. So they are relating each other in this way. And after that, we can cultivate our meditation, insight meditation, based on that right view to advance this right view. So this is my understanding. And in Myanmar, many of the times we don't speak about sunyata. We speak about anicca, dukkha, anatta, but actually they are synonyms of sunyata, especially the anatta. Anatta is the synonym of sunyata. So I think they are the same. Just the Buddha explained in many different ways in different suttas, and many of the time we don't focus on the sunyata suttas. We focus on another suttas related with anatta, dukkha, anicca, dukkha, anatta, like that. But they are actually only the terminology, the explanations, the way explanations are different, but the concept is the same. I think so. Thank you.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you.
The time
Thank you very much.
constraint. One last question because the time is proceeding.
So thank you very much for your very interesting presentation. It was really interesting to hear about where sunnata has been mentioned in the Theravada text. And from what I understood from your presentation is that sunnata can mean have different meanings depending on the context and depending on the sutta where it is mentioned. And you mentioned some of the context, for example, where it says Sankhara Dharma is sunnata because it is empty of self. And the peak insight vipassana is sunnata because it contemplates the empty of self. So if I understood correctly, this is referring to selflessness, similar to selflessness. Is that correct?
Yes.
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 So my question was here where you mentioned phala samapatti is sunyata because it is empty of science. What does it mean by empty of science? And that's my first question. And the second question was, you mentioned earlier about the difference of, empty of self. Is there a difference of empty of self in a person? So a person being selfless or person being empty of self versus another object apart from the self, right? So looking at phenomena being selfless, is there a difference? So being selfless of a person, of an inherent person versus a phenomena being selfless, is there a difference in your opinion?
Okay, thank you for your question. So for the first question, the silence mean in Pali it is animita, no? Animita samadhi, no? Animita mean we can brief the meditation way in two ways, no? So the samadhi meditation and the vipassana meditation, no? For the samadhi meditation, it is to cultivate jhana, no? Jhana. And in that, for absorption, so for absorption meditation, for samadhi meditation, and also called the samatha meditation, for that meditation, we need one sign, one nimitta to cultivate our concentration. But for vipassana meditation, we don't need these kinds of sign, this kind of, for example, Patavi, Apu, like that, the sign of earth, the sign of fire, like that, to cultivate our concentration in samatha way, we need one sign object, the objective sign, But for insight meditation, for vipassana meditation, we don't need that kind of sign, We directly need to understand, and we are trying to understand the phenomena as they are, without getting any help from that nimitta signs, So when you cultivate the vipassana meditation and when you achieve the palasamapatti, it is the final goal of the vipassana meditation. And actually in vipassana way, from the beginning until the end, we are directly focusing on the phenomena without paying attention to the sign. Signs mean you can also understand like piñati, piñati, or the shapes, the forms, like that, But in vipassana meditation, we don't need that kinds of objects, because the objects are the phenomena. The characteristics of the phenomena are the object of vipassana meditation. So vipassana meditation is free from sign. Free from sign means free from piñati, free from forms, free from shape, free from substance, free from appearance, like that, So sign here me, I translate the Pali words nimitta, nimitta into I translate as signs, So signless mean animita. Animita mean directly paramattha. There is no paññati, there is no appearance, forms, shapes. It is just directly focusing the nature of phenomena. So it is called signless. It is called animitta. Yeah, I mean so.
Thank you so much. The time is running. Thank you for your intellectual questions. But now let's put our hands together for Tandaso. Thank you so much. Now it's the next presenter, Dr. Omar Nyingshane. Please take your place on the stage. Dr. Omar Nyingshane is a second-year MA student in Pali and Buddhist Studies at the Shan State Buddhist University. She was a senior consultant physician from the Ministry of Health and Sports in Myanmar. She earned with MBBS the bachelor degree and Master of Medical Science in Internal Medicine from the University of Medicine 1, Yangon, Myanmar. She had served for the country 29 years, including 2 years in Bhutan as a medical specialist. She joined SSBU in 2023 and earned her diploma in Pali and Buddhist Studies. Her interests focus on the insight meditation, Abhidhamma, and the application of mindfulness meditation and the Buddhist ethics in secular sectors. Her topic today is the purposes and methods of practicing breathing mindfulness from the Anapanasati Sutta, along with her experience at a meditation retreat at the Shui Umin Toya Meditation Center. The stage is yours now.
Thank you very much for your kind introduction. And good afternoon, members of Sangha and everyone. And today I'm going to present the purpose and structure of Anapanasati along with my experience of meditation retreat at Shui Umin Toya Meditation Center. Our research problem is many people regard the Anapanasati Sutta as a teaching only a meditation practice for developing samatha. And this understanding raises the question of whether the sutta also present are complete paths leading to ultimate liberation. Result question: how does the Anapanasati lead to ultimate liberation? These are the contents in my presentation. Introduction. Anapanasati Sutta is the Buddha's direct step-by-step guide, transforming the simple act of breathing into an incredible powerful tool for insight. It is found in the Majjhima Nikaya, discourses number 118. And this discourse was delivered when Buddha was residing at Savatthi in the Eastern Park, in the palace of Magara's mother, on the occasion of Uposatha Day, the full moon night of the 4th month. And this is the structure of Anapanasati Sutta. When mindfulness of breathing is developed and cultivated, it fulfills the 4 foundations of mindfulness, and when the 4 foundations of mindfulness are developed and cultivated, they fulfill the 7 enlightenment factors. And when these 7 enlightenment factors are developed and cultivated, they fulfill the true knowledge and develop deliverance. How is mindfulness of breathing developed and cultivated? So it is of great fruit and great benefit. First of all, our Buddha emphasis on creating importance of creating a suitable environment for meditation. So he advised to go to forest, to the root of the tree, and to an empty hut, where our distractions are minimal. And the second step is to adopt our stable meditative posture. by sitting down with a crossed leg and keeping the body upright. And then finally, established mindfulness in front of him. That is the observe each inhalation and exhalation with continuous awareness. This instruction provides the essential foundation for the right practice. And according to the structures, there are 16 sequential steps in the structure, and they are structured into 4 tetrads. And first tetrad focuses on the body. And step 1 and step 2 recognize the breathing, whether it's long or short. And the aim is not to control the breathing, but to keep to know the breathing as it really is naturally occur. And that step is to experience the whole body. It means the whole body of the breath. And then our 4th step is tranquilizing the body formation. In this context, body formation refer to in and out breathing. At this stage, breathing naturally becomes smoother and body tension decreases, restlessness subsides, and the body becomes calm and relaxed. And when the body has been calm, the practice naturally moves to second tetrad, which is contemplation of the feeling. At the 5th step, experiencing piti. This is the present body sensation. And at this stage, there is a feeling of uplift characterized by a sense of lightness, excitement, and enthusiasm. And then 6th step is the experiencing pleasure. This is also known as sukha in Pali, and this is pleasant in mind. And calm happiness, a stable feeling of comfort, contentment, and inner peace. And 7th step is the experiencing mental formation. Mental formation refer to our perception and feeling. And then 8th step is to tranquilize the mental formation. At this stage, our excitement subsides, emotional disturbances settles, and the mind grows more peaceful, balanced, and unified. The second tetrad refine the emotional dimension of meditation and prepare the mind for a deeper concentration and insight. And having cultivated body, mindfulness of body and mind, body and feeling, the practice are naturally moved to third tetrad, which focus on the mind. And 9th step is the experience in mind. This is the awareness of present state of mind. Not it is to know the mind as it is, not without judgment. And the 10th step is the gladdening of the mind. That is, cultivates our wholesome mental qualities such as confidence in practice, appreciation of inner calm, gratitude, and serenity. This strengthens the mind and support deeper meditation. And 11th step to concentrate the mind. That is unification and collectiveness of the mind. In this stage, distractions become weakened and attention grows more stable. And 12 steps is liberating the mind. This is temporary freedom from 5 hindrances and allowing the mind to become increasingly detached and are receptive to insight. Then this state in the fourth thread is shift from the cultivation of concentration to the development of insights. And 13th step is contemplating impermanence. At this stage, the practitioner observe that all phenomena, including breath, feeling, body, and all experience are constantly arising and passing away. This understanding weakens the attachment. And the 14 steps is the contemplating fading away. And as insight into the impermanence deepen, craving and attachment gradually diminish. The mind develops dispassion and letting go of its habitual desire to grasp the pleasant experience and to resist the unpleasant one. And 15th step is the contemplating cessation. Ending of craving and cleansing, which lead to cessation of suffering. Ultimately, Nibbana, that is complete cessation of craving, aversion, and delusion. The final step is contemplating relinquishment. In this stage, the practitioner abandons attachment and the sense of ownership. This is the culmination of the process. It shifts from the cultivation of concentration to the development of insight. And the practice does not end with the 16 steps. If these 16 steps are fully developed and cultivated, it fulfills the 7 enlightenment factors, such as sati, mindfulness, investigation of phenomenon, energy, rapture, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. When a bhikkhu fully develops the 7 enlightenment factors, these factors are supported by seclusion, dispassion, and cessation, and then mature in relinquishment. This is how the 7 enlightenment factors develop and cultivated. Full true knowledge, Vajra, and the fulfill the true knowledge, Vajra, and deliverance, Vimoti. This diagram shows our progress of the practice. Our Buddha explained our mindfulness of the breathing is fully developed and cultivated. It fulfills the 4 establishment of mindfulness, such as contemplation of body, our feeling, mind, and our phenomenon. And when these 4 foundation of mindfulness are developed and cultivated, it fulfills the 7 organic factors. When these factors are fulfilled and are developed and cultivated, it fulfills the true length and knowledge and liberation. In conclusion, Anapanasati Sutta therefore illustrates that mindfulness of breathing is not merely a calming the mind, but a complete path leading to realization of Nibbana. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Omami Shane. She places a strong emphasis on the Anapana Sutta and the cultivating the breathing awareness. Anapana Sutta, according to her, is a comprehensive and systematic methodological approach to mental training. The cultivation of breathing mindfulness has several advantages. When breathing awareness is developed and cultivated, the 4 pillars of mindfulness are established. Cultivating the 4 pillars of mindfulness establishes the 7 enlightened factors. As the best, there are basic mental qualities. When these components are completely established, true comprehension and deliverance are achieved. The 4 pillars or tetrad of mindfulness are body, feeling, mind, and the mental object contemplation. Each tetrad has 4 of the 16 steps. She talks about her daily activities at the Shui Umen meditation, retreat vipassana, insight meditation, and with focused contemplation of the mind, Setanupassana, and the mental phenomenon, Dhammanupassana. This is the main emphasis in the Shui Umen. There are 3 main duties for meditators. The firstly, establishing the correct perspective. Secondly, cultivating awareness. And lastly, sustaining mindfulness all day long, not just during the designated sitting and the walking methods. Thank you again. Let's applaud her. And now, now we open the floor for questions and answers. Due to the time is running, please make your questions short again, please.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I just wonder if that's the Sumin Sayadaw Monastery at Uttajania.
Yeah.
Because I thought that is the Chittanupassana. It's not like a forefathers in a meditation like this.
It is not only Saitanupatana. Ciara said that it's all goal or
So when did you take that instruction? Because as I remember, I had been there for a long time, and at that time said, "Oh, this only."
particularly emphasis on the Saitanupatana and Dhammanupatana. That's
No, I mean the time. Maybe recently said, "Oh, change the style at the meditation."
Huh?
When Sayadaw provide that kind of instruction about the meditation, because I thought in about 10 years ago, more than 10 years, 15 years ago,
yeah.
Sayadaw teach in a very different way. So when I saw you present like this, I'm very surprised. I thought it's a different meditation center, but actually it's the same. Sayadaw Uttajania.
No. I mean, this is about the Anapanasati Sutta and our present experience of my meditations and achievement. But there is no times that's why I don't share.
So that is a different story.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Okay, I understand.
And when I intend this, yeah, okay.
Thank you. I'm very appreciate for your presentation. And yes, I want to know the methods like during I practice meditation. Yes, at the time when I heard some sound or some note that come from the outside, at the time I don't know how to control our mind. This is a big problem for me. And yes, for example, I have focused on this thing until or just again and again like that. That I want to know, like, for example, if you said to me, don't think about Apple, at the time in my mind immediately immerse Apple again and again like that. I want to know because recently I already know you have more experience, more experience in the some meditation background. So I want to know that the way how to control our mind at a time.
Song, you mean song?
Yes.
Yeah. Song is song, or you have to keep the mind. Song is song, not that there is no judgment. Okay. A song is a song, unlike the metta meditation, a song, a pain, and the thought are not obstacle for the vipassana meditation. They are the meditation object. You can take it as a meditation object, and these songs, the thoughts, and our feeling of pain. So you have to accept song as song, not no judgment. Okay.
You means I have to remove from this object, from this song, like that, right?
Sorry.
Sorry, repeat again. I mean, doing I practice meditation, right?
Yeah.
At a time, when I heard some song or some notes, yes.
Yeah.
At a time, how to control our mind like this? Because I have to focus for these objects again and again.
You don't need. You just simply note song as song. That's all. Do you understand me?
Yes, of course. Thank you.
I think the Venerable just talking about how to remove. I think, okay, the meditation is we are not trying to control the mind, just letting go through the five sense object, right? Okay, like for example, like the Mahayana tradition, before you begin the chanting, you have to focus the ringing the bell. Okay, you can, I think if Dhamma, what the sound is to let go. Okay, there are two things hitting. Of course, there will be a noise. Okay, and then you just let it go, non-judgment. Okay, no judgment, whether it is bad or good. Maybe you may feel that this is the disturbance. You may. That is why before we do the meditation, we need to have a calm place. Very less disturbance. Like many talk about Metta Sutta, the quality of before you cultivate loving kindness. There are many qualities we should have. Actually, is a qualification we should have. I think what the Venerable asking is how to remove the sound. It's impossible to remove it, to control it. The more you try to control, the more you will be suffer, right? Okay, that is the thing. The purpose of practicing the Satipatthana is letting go in whatever situation, non-judgment. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's applaud her again. And the last presenter, Edward Tan or U Cho Nyun Tao. Please get ready. So he's holding the Bachelor of Arts honors in International Teachers Training and English from the Newman University College, Birmingham, England, United Kingdom. And he worked in several places until 2020. He used to be a barrister and the manager in the coffee lounge in the United Kingdom, Birmingham, UK, and the English language teacher and the head teacher in so many places, including the Grand Ace Education Center, Mahayana Academy, British Council, freelance interpreter and translator from English to Myanmar and Myanmar to English. One thing very astonishing is he is not Buddhist, he's a Christian. And though he is not SSBU alumni, he is very honored to allow to present today. And he is presenting today on the dialogue, meditative or contemplative cultures between Buddhism and Christianity, the only path to communal harmony. And she's building the interfaith relationship with the Christianity and the Buddhism. Very interesting topic. May I invite Mr. Edward Thun now? The stage is yours.
Thank you very much, the moderator, for allowing me to take this opportunity and to be honored with this chance of speaking in front of. I actually, to be honest, when I was approached to present a paper during this paper presentation ceremony event, yesterday and today, on the 3rd and the 4th of July, I was a little bit confused. What should I say? But when I went to see my friend, who is a priest, a Jesuit priest, and he gave me this book about the wheel and the cross. The wheel and the cross. And in one of the articles, he talks about a Jesuit priest in Sri Lanka who applied to do doctoral studies at Kalinia, the Buddhist university. He was told to wait for 5 years because he wasn't accepted. Once he was accepted, he already finished half of his doctoral thesis. So his experience there enriched him to build a better relationship with other religions. But no? Because the reason why the university did not accept him, he said in the article that the previous missionaries who came to Sri Lanka studied Buddhism at that university. And when they went back to Europe, they wrote so many bad things about Buddhism. That is why that experience really taught him and the whole Catholic community in Sri Lanka to be more sensitive to other faiths. But before I start my proper presentation, let me read out my acknowledgement so I won't forget anybody that I should be thankful to.
I think you have only 10 minutes left. Acknowledgement is not necessary, I guess.
I feel a little bit important. So in the name of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, may I humbly express my sincerest thanks, first and foremost, to Most Venerable Dr. Ashin Kamai, Dhammasami, Rector, and all the faculty members, both Sangha and laity, of the Shan State Buddhist University for initiating research paper, presentation culture to the people in Đ钵NG and Shan State. That is the most important thing I would like to express. And now, let me start my proper presentation here. Dialogic, meditative, and contemplative cultures between Buddhism and Christianity. The only path to communal harmony. The reason why I chose this title is because meditations are practiced by different kinds of people from different backgrounds and different denominations of faith. Still, the aim is the same. So, but before that, I go into meditation practice, let me give you some definition of words. Some words that are very, very different in meaning for Buddhists and for Christians like us. But the first word is faith. Faith for a Christian is belief in God and the promises that Jesus came down to earth and redeemed the whole human race by sacrificing himself. But as for Buddhism, it means a deep faith, serene trust, and confidence in Buddha teaching, and the confidence that everybody, an individual person, has a potential to develop his insight to achieve enlightenment one day. And another one, Christian kenosis means the emptying of Jesus, including himself, for the salvation of the whole human race. But as for Buddhist anatta, it means emptying. It means self or non-self, emptying one's self for emptying oneself for the Dhamma to develop in individual person, and in the end the elimination of the samsara, no? For the and elimination of the vicious cycle of life. No? And another fundamental gap and irreconcilable credos here means the opposite ends of belief or faith we keep, no? Between Christians and the Buddhists. No? For Christianity, especially for the Catholic Christian like me, we believe we were taught, no? In our Catholic dogma, we were taught, if you want to enter heaven, we must believe in the Holy Trinity, one God. The Father is the creator of all things. Jesus is the Son of God, born of Virgin Mary, suffered, crucified, and died. And the Holy Spirit of God as well, right? And also believe in the Holy Catholic Church, which is made up of 3 states of church, no? The living church, or we call it the militant, the church sufferings, the Christians who have already departed from this world, no? And the church triumphant means the saints who have already gone before us to heaven. No? But as for the Hula, 1958 states, for Buddhists, according to some religions, each individual has such a separate soul. Actually, for Christians, everyone has a soul that God gives. And when he dies, with a lot of good merits, he goes to heaven with that soul. That soul goes to heaven to have eternal rest with God. But as for Buddhism, it's completely different. Buddhism has no eternal soul like the one presented, that believed by the Christians. The soul for Buddhism is quite like it says here, a separate soul, which this is for the Christian. But Rahula states here is for the Christians. But another one here, it says here, Rahula argues, according to the teaching of the Buddha, the idea of self is an imaginary false belief which has no corresponding reality. And it produces harmful thoughts of me and mine, selfish desire, craving, attachment, hatred, ill will, conceit, pride, egoism, and other defilements, impurities, and problems. That's the polarized ends of the belief that Christians and the Buddhists have. No? But here, Christian and Buddhist meditative practice in comparison. No? And after reading some resources, I came to realize that THERAVADA Vipassana method is very close to the Christian asceticism in the 3rd, the 4th, or the 5th centuries in Egypt, in Palestine, those areas, also in Syria. No? They left everything, including their family, and went to the deserts to practice total silence and a lot of praise. They spend a lot of time, including deprive themselves of sleep to pray and to eat as little as they can survive, to go against their bodily needs, to suppress their bodily wants, so they can develop their spiritual growth and be union with God as soon as possible. That is the objective of the practice. The objective is to detach from any mundane possessions, including the bodies, by following severely strict regimen in isolation and silence. And here, the ultimate aim of the THERAVADA's way of Vipassana is to guide practitioners to the direct, immediate realization of Nibbana by cutting through, here it says, cutting through the illusions of mind and matter. In many ways, THERAVADA's Vipassana is, although different in times, but very, very similar to the Christian asceticism a long time ago. So the main focus is on intensive application of Satipatthana, the 4 foundations of mindfulness. That is about the THERAVADA's Vipassana. Now, and it says here, THERAVADA's way of ascetic practice, though different in times from Christian asceticism, is similar in implementation, as they both consider indulgence in physical comfort to be an impediment to attaining spiritual achievements. Okay, I would like to introduce you to the 3 Spanish very, very important Christian, Catholic Christian saints. We call them saints because they develop their spiritual insight and gain nirvana. Again, we call it go to heaven. We believe. The three of them, they all came from Spain. They all came from the same area, the same region, but the spirituality, their spiritual revolution arose because during that time in Spain and in Europe, these people were religious monks or nuns. So according to religious congregations or orders in Catholic Christians, they have to receive 3 vows. The first vow is the vow of poverty, and the second vow is the vow of chastity, and the third vow is the vow of obedience to the superiors. And during that time, these 3 vows were so lax, and the church became so rich. After colonizing South America, Spain became very rich. Many European countries also became rich. So these faith became very lax. The practice became lax. And people did not stick to the rules that they were supposed to follow. So Saint Teresa and Saint John joined in collaboration with each other, brought their congregation, their order back to the original tradition, which practice very strict, strict rules and regimen of the congregation. So Saint Teresa was a mystic. She was a mystic and doctor of the church. And a contemplative prayer, according to her, a contemplative prayer is nothing else than a close sharing between friends. It means taking time frequently to be alone with him, who we know loves us. Now, her contemplative prayers has 7 stages, into 3 phases of 7 stages with certain mentions in Teresian, in her contemplation. The first is the purgative way. The purgative way includes a few mentions there, and the illuminative way, the unitive way. And John of the Cross was more or less following the same practices of Avila. So I'm not Teresa of Avila, so I'm not going to talk much about him anymore. Right? But my focus is on Saint Ignatius of Loyola, whose practice, called Ignatian spirituality, is very dominant in Europe, in America, and very prevalent among young people, young practitioners, and popular among both Christians, Catholic Christians, and other denominations, or even people without any proper faith, or names, name of faith. So for them, like Ignatian spiritual exercises are in many ways similar to Moko Serafia's techniques. He was an advocate of moderate practice rather than like saying Teresa Avila and St. John of Christ. Follow very strict rules with a lot of rigor and rigidity. But Ignatius of Loyola, his most important spiritual exercise is contemplation in action, because his focus is he was one of the 6 founders of Jesuit Society of Jesus, members of whom including the late Pope Francis. Pope Francis was one of the Jesuits trained in the Society of Jesus. They had very, very what we call it, very up-to-date practice, the system. That is why the 10 days retreat, 30 days retreat online is very, very popular among people of all ages. You can do online retreat under the Jesuit spiritual director. And I would like to mention this person, Anthony de Mello. He was a mystic Jesuit priest of India. He revitalized this Ignatian spiritual exercise in adaptation to Buddhist and Hindu traditions, which became so successful while he was alive in the 1990s, I think, 90s. So many European priests, Catholic priests and nuns, and including many rectors of formation, went to him for spiritual enlightenment. He was a very simple and open-minded person. He did not treat anybody like a spiritual person. So he became very popular among those spiritual practitioners. They call him a modern spiritual guide in the Catholic tradition.
I think it's time's up.
Okay. Okay. For conclusion, I would like to For conclusion, in this modern era of knowledge and free thinking, instead of arguing whether one religion or system of belief is better than another, it is highly recommended that we join hands for collaborative efforts to find the most practical solutions for many of the problems exposed to us these days. Two hands make work lighter. So goes the saying. We may all have to look beyond our designated racial, social, and religious scopes to be able to see what is actually happening in the world and be able to find the best answer to the enigma of life, the mysteries of problems, and the quench for lobha, dodha, and moha to eventually gain nirvana. Life is short and work is plentiful, so we have no time to stand and stare. May the blessings of Buddha be showered upon us. May we all be enlightened soon. May all creatures be liberated from all bondages. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Edward Tan. Your paper is very marvelous, and building the interfaith friendship between the Buddhism and the Christianity for the world peace. Very good. Through the meditation, Buddhism and Christian can make friends for the peace. So the study identifies the key differences between the Buddhism and the Christianity, as well as the possible remedies to the recent misgiving tendencies. And one side blame to another side, so meditation can solve this problem. Though it goes by many titles, so much, whether you say then meditation or mindfulness or mindful awareness, whatever you contemplative practice, the fundamental purpose of the meditation is the same, regardless of religion, race, or social satisfaction. It is universal. Contrasting facts and the differences between the two religions are also emphasized in his paper, while Buddhism holds that achieving Nibbana depends entirely on the individual's own effort rather than the faith to the God. So Buddhism, you have to practice self-reliance, self-practice, but on the other hand, Christianity believe in God and you surrender yourself to the God. So to my understanding, when you say Christianity God, I think this is 3 in 1. The one is a heavenly God, and he sent the Jesus as a human being to the human world. And another thing is after her death, her resurrection, and he survived again, he becomes alive again after the resurrection of the 3 days. So I call Christianity as a 3 in 1. So
Yes.
all three are the same one God.
No, that's only Catholic Christian.
Yeah. So this is to my understanding.
Yes,
Maybe
yes.
I'm mistaken. So my understanding from your presentation. So it is easy to misunderstand that others say and harbor the prejudice against them when there is no dialogue. So dialogue is very important between the two religions. It draws attention to the possibility of using the meditation techniques to transcend religious divides between the Buddhism and the Christianity. The only way to achieve social harmony is meditation, mindful awareness, and it is crucial to build peaceful bridge across different religions. So I think we need more research on the interfaith religions to build the friendships. So thank you so much. And one thing is, what is the convergence? Is a Catholic also counting the rosary beads. Yeah.
Yeah, 50 beats.
But counting the beads is not really the Theravada, but it is a tradition.
Yes.
Being September. So thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. Now, please applaud him again. Now we open the floor for Q&A. To make your questions short to the points, please.
Before answering any Q&A, I would like to tell you about this book again. No? This book was compiled by the Jesuits in Southeast Asian countries where the Theravada Buddhism is majority. No? It's the Will and the Cross. It's a very, very insightful book into interreligious dialogue. Unfortunately, none of the writers is from Myanmar yet.
Good afternoon, brothers. May I highlight your conclusion? The meditation that you mean, is it more into the relief and the well-being?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean in the more practical meditation, based on my understanding on your presentation, is the interfaith or the friendship in the meditation section is maybe we can go together for the Christianity, or the Catholic is more into the relief and the well-being. Is that
Yes.
what would you
Understood.
use?
A system of meditation after the revitalization of the Jesuit practice, Ignatian spirituality by Father Anthony de Mello, the Indian mystic. We follow a lot of Buddhist system. So like be aware of your sensations on your skin, on your body, every part of your body, things like that, as well as your breathing out. But the Buddhist meditation for us, for the Catholic, is only introduction to the real meditation. They call it contemplation, because Christian meditation, in Christian meditation, the individual is always with somebody within the meditation, within the contemplation. But for Buddhism, during meditation, you empty yourself out of everything. You take nothing. You just be aware of what is going on around, inside or outside of you. No? You're not with anybody in your meditation, in your contemplation, right? But for Catholic, that is why Bible reading, scripture reading, Holy Bible reading is very important for the Christian, especially the Ignatian spiritual exercise. They emphasizes reading scriptures, Bible, before any of the meditation or contemplative practice, exercise. That is the difference, that is the difference. So still, you can see many Christians now in Vihara all over the world and practicing, following the Buddhist way of meditation. So I hope I answer your question. Is that okay? Thank you so much for asking that question.
More questions, please.
Because one of the point I missed was that very question, right? That very answer, I missed it, right? Because of the time constraint.
My name is Benera Panindriya, represented to the Kapura Buddhist University. Thank you very much, Mr. Edwardson. It's a really wonderful presentation that I have heard. Like this presentation, you did well. So my question is that what are the practical steps for the establish a dialogue, contemplated culture at the grassroots level rather than just amount of academic and monastic? That means in the ground level, which step is it better in the to be harmony in the dialogue?
Okay. Thank you very much, Cynthia. According to my experience, no, from the past missionaries, right, who came to Myanmar from Italy, from France, from America, they came to Myanmar, not, to teach, holding the Bible, and they did not come to Myanmar holding a Bible and teaching, study teaching what is in the Bible, but not straight away. But what they did was, they did not even do anything religious first. What they did was social work or like educational work. They opened school for children there. That's the beginning. That's the first stage that the Christian missionaries did in the past. And even now, in some Christian majority community, they do that. Like social, they open clinics, healthcare centers for everybody for free, free healthcare center for everybody, and education as well. I like teaching English to children in the village or in the area, for everybody, not restricted to any denominations or religion. That is what we can start. That is how it was started in the very long past. So I think we can even now we can still start at any level, wherever we are, with teaching or with healthcare or with even with social work. Now, by the way, a few years ago, up until I think 2021 or 2022, a missionary from Italy, Pime, we call him Pime missionary from Italy, he established a drug rehabilitation center somewhere in Payapu, that side, which wasn't known a lot, which wasn't very well known among the people here yet, but he had to close it, I think, or had to hand over to another priest, local priest, I think, for his personal safety. So he had to go back to Italy, unfortunately. But things like that, drug rehabilitation is a big problem in our society now, and probably if we could in the near future, we could establish the counseling center, or like a counseling center, instead rather than religious counseling, like social counseling center, or like counseling for young people, in conjunction, in partnership with schools, private schools, or especially private schools. Private schools are easy to go into for any social group or religious group. So if you can get into schools like that, that's where you can start. You are in repeat dialogue from there, because there are so many other denominations there, children from Buddhist society, Buddhist background, Islamic background, Christian backgrounds, that they will come to know who you are and what you are doing. Then they will appreciate, come to accept your identity as well.
Yeah. Thank you. I got it.
Hope I answer your question.
Thank you so much. I think there are two questions. One is a Malaysian monk, Dr. Penyati Patan, and the Tipitaka Sayadaw Uteka.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. Actually, I have no question at all. However, that here in this case, to be harmonious, we are something curious to explain to solve this problem. I think one of the solution is usage. The word we use is a problem. You also mentioned that you translate the faith or belief or something like that. In Pali we say the tata, sada. This we also translate in this case. Belief or faith. In that sense, we can imagine that belief means, in that sense, something discrimination. Faith, discrimination, in that sense. We believe in Christian, we believe Buddhist. If we believe in the Christian, we don't believe Buddhism. If we believe Buddhism, we don't believe Christian. It's a kind of discrimination. Instead, we should translate, sada, confidence.
Okay.
That is better. We have to rely on ourselves, like such a confidence. There is a diverse translation, diverse interpretation, confidence. The Buddha encouraged us, to to have to be convenient, to have a competence or something like that. We have to rely on ourselves. I believe that Christians also like that. Jesus Christ encourages, to rely on ourselves. Such as, the embodiment of Jesus Christ is metta, loving kindness. There is no discrimination. Metta means no discrimination at all. In Buddhism, we use the D. The D, we can translate it, non-judgmental awareness. We don't need to judge, Christian or Islam or Buddhism or which one is better or something like that. We don't need to judge. A kind of translation of the study is non-judgmental awareness. Metta is non-discrimination. Such a kind of translation we have to change to be harmony.
Yes.
That is my suggestion, my comment.
Yes, thank you so much, Chef.
you.
Yeah, if we have to change that, we have to change the whole literature, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now it's Dr. Panyatipa.
Okay.
I just came in pretty late, and I just would just get some view of your latest slide. But I mean, because I went to a Catholic school, yeah. So for my high school, so a lot of friends actually. Yeah. In fact, although Catholic and Eastern Orthodox coming from the same root, some origin. When I was spending 3 months in Serbia 3 years ago, we bumped into a nun, Eastern Orthodox nuns, and we just like chit-chatted a little bit, and she expressed interest. Can you come over to teach us meditation?
Yes, things like that. No?
It was totally like we never expected that.
Yes,
right. And apparently, in fact, impression of monks to them, sort of. I'm not sure whether they are conservative arms or a bit of liberal. And she in fact, she thought that we are not religion. Buddhism is a philosophical school. It's some sort of like improving life, like improvement sort of lifestyle, sort of a philosophical system. But not so long ago, probably 2 years ago, I still have this book with me by this priest, Catholic priest. Of course, we know Thomas Merton.
Thomas Merton.
Yeah, and no, Thomas Merton's already like
Thomas Keating. First Keating.
Keating.
Yeah.
Oh, another one is Merton.
Oh, another one is
yes. And
he's also so much into Buddhist practice.
Correct, Keating as well.
Talks a lot about Buddhism.
And for those who had a bit of intellectual tint, like tendency to it, this book is pretty good. Raimundo Panica.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone that I think he got 3 PhDs, I think.
Okay.
And she could basically polyglot, could use several languages. It's very good. And he wrote a book, The Silence of God and the Answer of the Buddha. So this book, it's not an easy read. And particularly, I was really drawn into his ideas about apophatism, ontological and apophatism to make it to some of the doctrines, key doctrines of Buddhism, like Nirvana and Samsara.
Yeah.
Although I almost forgot what actually he said, but I think it's a good read. It's pretty good read, but challenging read.
Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you so much for.
Thank you. And just 1 second. In Sri Lanka, we had a Catholic priest, a Jesuit, who has doctorate in
Pali, yes,
and Buddhism. And in the UK, I met a Jesuit who holds a doctorate in Islamic studies. So in countries like that, the reason why they are successful in interreligious dialogue is because they have experts from their side. No? So they understand the other side very clearly. No?
If you are familiar with the history of Buddhism and Sanskrit Buddhism back in maybe in the 60s, 50s, we had a very I would say renowned scholar. It's called Etienne Lamotte, Latin Lamotte. And also, and he's maybe student person from France. They are Buddhist scholars.
Yes, yes.
And we have one Pali scholar in Sri Lanka. He also is a priest, but I'm not sure whether he's still alive. He published a book on Pali grammar.
Yes, yes.
And seems like the Catholic. Catholic.
I just wonder
Correct.
if we have any like Catholic or other Christians, no, coming to study at Buddhist university here, no, yet, no. Just wonder, no.
So far, would I consider our
we have
our Totten?
Yes.
Totten, I heard that you are Christian.
Yes, I see.
No.
I can answer that question.
Theodore will insist.
Yeah, I can answer that question. We had one Catholic father from the Philippines
Okay.
applying to our university successfully, but he couldn't come due to the COVID.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and I just would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your wonderful presentation. I just would like to add, because I saw you mentioned Sister Teresa of Avila,
Yes.
Saint Teresa. In 2017, I attended a conference in Avila at their university, jointly organized by Hong Kong University Center for Buddhist Studies and the Catholic there. I think in 2000 or 2001, they published the conference proceeding, and my paper is part of that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on faith.
Okay.
And one thing that I'd like to add for the sake of everyone who is interested in your topic is, in 1973, in the Encyclopedia of Religion, published in England, a Buddhist scholar from Manchester University by the name of Lance Cousin, he compared jhana with the 7 causes of Saint Teresa of Avila. Yeah. That's just additional information. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Theodore. The last questions from the Dr. VAJRAYANA from the Rakhine State. The last questions. Just because it is interesting intellectual discussions.
Thank you, sir. So let me cautious. Thank you so much for presentation. It's like a dialogue or interface between these two traditions or two religions. For me, this is very fundamental questions for me. As far as the Christian or others, the God-based religion concerned, to me, I was wondering, the question is, are we responsible to believe in God? That is the fundamental question. So why? Because it said that we are living in the world which were created by God. So are we responsible? If not, are we punishable? Because from that point of view, we are atheists, right? We don't believe in God. So atheists, where are we going? To the hell. To hell, yes. Right? Then, somebody, or those who don't believe in God have to go there. I think including the Buddha. So I worry that we're going there, or other side, I'm not worried that there's somebody there. Intellectual, then that is question there. Are we responsible to believe in? If not, what?
I think that depends on what religion you follow, no? Because I was born into a Catholic Christian family. Both my parents were
excuse me, what school you belong to, sir? Is it Roman Catholic or Protestant?
Roman Catholic.
Orthodox.
So Roman Catholic Christian. Even my grandparents were Catholic Christians are automatically born into Catholic Christian. You know, after coming to the Tenjian retreat, my, whole mindset changed. I mean, concerning religion, concerning looking at people, no? Even my two children, my eldest son and my daughter, after the discernment here, during the Tenjian retreat, they completely, totally changed to Buddhism as the faith. Although both parents were Catholic Christian. Both my missus and I are Catholic Christian. They were even baptized when they were children. But we allow them to follow whichever religion they want to, as long as they practice it. They practice it. Otherwise, we won't. So both of them listen to the Dhamma talk by Nanda Malawi Bungsa to Mingko Sarapia, Dhammasidi Sarapia, and Pisa Shuzitapia. The whole day, whatever they do, they turn on the Dhamma and listen. So we are pleased that they take it seriously. No? They take Buddhism as their path of life seriously. So both parents are happy for them. No? That is what we see them. How to say? That's our conviction. No? That's our permission, sincere and honest permission, heartfelt permission for them to follow what they like, no? As long as they practice it.
Sorry, my questions. I worry that goes beyond his scope. And because I asked these questions, there's a dialogue there in the faith between two religions. Before that, we have to be clear that how you see us.
Oh, okay.
That is the question.
I already.
Sorry for this.
Yes, okay. I have already answered the question. Who you belongs to, right? What religion you follow? No? If you follow Catholic Christian or the Christian, in the Bible it says, "Believe in me, or you won't go to heaven." That is what Jesus said in the Bible. So if you don't follow Christianity, it doesn't apply to you.
I think we should invite you for another one day for the very interesting Q&A, because you are the only Christians who come to the Buddhist community. So before we conclude, I had to respond to the Dr. Pinyatipa. Many people accuse me that I'm Christian. And because no. Let me say, because I love to sing the songs and I like to play guitar. So I play in the praise and worship band in the Baptist church for 7 years. And many Buddhists went to complain to my mom, "Oh, she's converted to Christian, please tell her." And the Christian said that, "Why do you go to pray to the monk?" So I said that I'm bilingual because I just want to play music. So one thing in the church, something very good the Buddhists want to adapt is we have the home cell. Sunday is a worship day, and Saturday all the youth gather. We have the home cell is very good. We have to read this Dhamma. Okay, Tota, which one? Read it, and the next Saturday you have to discuss. So I discuss in the Buddhist way. So this is one thing, and there are so many things to talk because due to time. And one thing is they asked me in the communion. Jesus said before they die, and if you miss the Buddha on the Uposatha day, you can drink the piece of bread and the wine. Wine is so delicious, so I want to drink. They said that no, if you don't convert into the Christianity, you will go to hell. You cannot eat it. So please say God is good all the time. If you don't say, you will go to hell. So I just want to eat the wine and the bread. That's all. Okay, we will never ending since time is up. And I want to hand over the floor to the MCs, Venerable Santima.
Thank you for your kind handover. Ms. Nguyen Bui Han, for your excellent conducting, moderating. And also my express to our speakers, excellent speakers, for your wonderful go to all distinguished speakers, and also in on campus presenters, and also last but not least, at this time, on behalf of SSBU Alumni Committee, I would like to express to present the certificate on appreciation on our speakers, moderator, and MC. To present the certificates, may I respectfully invite the most venerable Rector Shadow to present the certificates. To receive the certificate, may I now invite the first session of this afternoon, Sally Matija, to receive the certificate of appreciation. Please go to the stage. And following, may I also invite the speaker next speaker for the Tet Noi Thuế. Okay. 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 Now, let me invite our moderator for the first session. Now, I'm born to receive the certificate. Venerable Tekawonsa to receive certificate. And next, now I'm born. Okay. Next, may I invite Miss So Jimun to next, may I invite Maji Dominsi. Next, may I invite Evot Tan. And following up, next, may I invite our moderator, Dr. Dehan, to receive the certificate.
Then we are going to invite the MC, Venerable Chantima, to come forward to receive the certificate of appreciation and gifts.
Okay, now we are closed. Okay, no, we are not going to do it. Okay, Miana, briefly, we are going to transfer to the Dhamma hall to the closing ceremony as we are run out of time. Thank you very much for your cooperation, for your kind attention, please.